I was born into a fairly normal family. My father was a carpenter, my mother worked at a hospital, and my sister went to a Christian school. When I was about 9, my parents separated, and I began a downward spiral pursuing death. I soon found myself entrenched in a world of drugs and everything that comes with it. I began to live a double life, going to church and youth group and proclaiming to know Jesus, and then returning to my hometown to get high with my friends. Eventually those two lives, they met, and I had to make a choice to live one way or the other. And in that moment I gave myself fully to the darkness that I had been pursuing since I was about 13. Fast forward 9 years, found myself in a jail cell, praying, pleading with God to forgive me for what I had done, and to take the part away from me that wanted to live this rebellious lifestyle. God not only heard my prayer, but answered it. I found myself feeling for the first time in almost 10 years, no longer high and no longer with purpose, or so I thought. Moved back in with my mother and left everything that I'd known. Went back to church, and there God revealed himself to me even more. He showed me a plan by introducing me to somebody who knew about his mansion. After talking for a couple hours about my life and listening to this man talk to me about this place he said was for people just like me, I found myself torn and scared to even think about moving away from the little security that I still had left with my family and the church that had just welcomed me back home. After a couple weeks of prayer, however, the Lord softened my heart to the idea and made it abundantly clear over the following months that this was the place where he wanted me. After arriving at his mansion, within a couple days, I could see that I really had no idea what I was getting into. And furthermore, I began to notice that I really had no ground to stand on. I didn't even know who I was. Over the year here, God brought me through so much. Not only did I get to know myself, but I got to know him in a way I never thought was possible. Moreover, I've learned a lot about my shortcomings, my weaknesses, as well as my strengths. I've also learned a lot about people and relationships. I've learned that God has created us all to be in a relationship with one another, which is something that I've been missing for a long time. These lessons, however, were not easy. I was pushed both by the program and by my brothers. Time and time again, I wanted to give up, but the Lord had already bought me at a price. So I continued to persevere over and over again. It's because of his grace and his mercy for me, and ultimately his love, that I stand before you today. My life is no longer my life, but his. When I walked on this hill, I had almost no hope or purpose for my life. And as I walk off, I go with the Lord and the prayers and love of the family here. This will always be my family, my second home, because of the presence the Lord has here. My life has been changed and it will never be the same. Thank you.